Hi, I'm Kyle Lamb with Viking Chronicles. We want to take a minute to recap what happened on our Wyoming bear hunt. A lot of you guys have given us some great feedback, so we're here to kind of tell you the rest of the story, so hopefully you learn something. And I always do. I know when I go out hunting or fishing or whatever it might be, or I'm on the range with whoever, I really learn something every time I head out there. So what happened, we headed up into the mountains. Before that, I received a scope from Leopold. It was already in a Alamo 4-star mount. So what I did was I took the weapon, simply placed the scope was already mounted in the right positioning for my eye. So I put the base on my weapon. I took my 65 inch-pounds Leopold T-handled wrench. I torqued it on, and I was good to go. Took it to the range, zeroed the weapon. Everything appeared to be fine. I got out to Wyoming. I made a couple shots just to reconfirm zero. I headed up there and I was sitting on a bear bait. Everything looked pretty good. I took a shot. I felt really solid about it. We went down there to check on the bear, and needless to say, you saw the video, we didn't have a bear. Once I went back and reviewed the video on a little bit larger screen, I was able to see what happened. I had missed slightly to the right. I'd barely nicked the bear. The next day we went out, we found a couple of drops of blood. And we got on the tracks of where you saw the bear run down the hill. He turned and he went right back up the hill. We could see clear footprints in the snow where there was some shadowed areas. We got on those footprints and we never saw another drop of blood. So, you know, it's very unfortunate that we lost that bear. I would have loved to have dropped him in his tracks because he's a very nice bear, but that didn't happen. Later on, it was actually the next night, I decided to head up onto one of the other bear baits with another hunter, one of my buddies, Jason. As I was going up there, I decided to dial down the power of my scope, and when I did, my scope actually shifted in the mount. And at that point, I knew exactly what had happened. When I put my scope on my weapon, I torqued the mount to the weapon, but I never torqued the screws to the scope. So what the correct procedure should be is I should take out my torque wrench. I set it on 25 to 28 inch-pounds of torque. That's 25 to 28 inch-pounds of torque, not foot-pounds, but inch-pounds. Then I simply take the wrench, I start to tighten, making sure I move in the right direction here. Back and forth, kind of an X pattern is what I normally do. And once I hit the correct torque on these, you'll hear my wrench snap. When that happens, I'll know that I've got all those set 25 to 28 inch-pounds of torque. It's a pretty simple tool. This is called the Fat Wrench. It's made by Wheeler. Not very expensive. You can buy them online, and that's what I've done with this one here. I've got a T25 star driver that I use here, and then I've got a 1/2 inch wrench that I would use down here. So to set this, I simply pull down on the bottom of the wheel, and I crank up until I hit 65 inch-pounds. And that's all that this wrench will go anyway. So I can quickly check those and make sure that I'm squared away. All right, so that's a little bit of a lesson learned. I guess I should practice what I preach. I do a lot of classes. Sometimes I get behind on my own equipment. But it's one of those things that you all need to be very cognizant of. Have a checklist. Go down that checklist and say, okay, did I do this? Did I slip my scales back to zero to make sure that when I go to zero, or if I'm riding a horse, something gets spun, I know where the zero stop is actually at. Have I torqued these screws? Have I torqued the nuts that hold that mount onto my weapon system? Like I said, I've got a lot of experience out there, not just hunting critters, but hunting other two-legged critters, and this is something I got reckless. I was excited to get up there and do some shooting. I had the new scope, I was ready to go, but I didn't go through that basic checklist. So I hope you learned something there. This is Viking Chronicles. Please check us out. We're going to put up some more videos here shortly. Just go to www.kylelamb.com, and thanks again to all of our great sponsors.